Name is Mike.
Oh, Michael, that's my dad's name. I'm Dominique.
It's a common name.
It's a lovely name,
I
yeah.
like it myself.
Yeah, so what brings you here today?
Well, are you rolling already? Because I'm just here for work. It's not an exciting answer. I didn't know this was happening today. So,
Yeah.
but I came by, I saw some familiar faces, and some familiar faces saw me. So
It's nice. So you spoke to Steve last time. What did you chat about last time?
we were talking about that was around the time that we were getting a lot of encroachments into our personal rights. It was a couple of years after COVID, and we started to see pushes for censorship, same pushes that we're seeing right now.
Yeah.
And it is still persistent. Look, there's a reason why they want to control what we think, because when we think the same thing together and we call out the bullshit together, they can't handle us. There's a poem that ends in the line, rise like lions from your slumber in unvanquishable number, shake your chains to the ground like dew that when in sleeping fell onto you. We are many, they are few. That is the truth. But I've seen a lot of positive pushback as
Yeah.
well. We see
I've actually felt it today speaking to people. I've really felt that positivity and that people are waking up.
I had in the last video, I said hope was very important. It's a disease to them, but to us, it's our strength, you know.
It is.
And it's. I like being right, and I'm usually not far off. And I think
I'll tell my husband that.
yeah, yeah. I bet he understands. Yeah,
Does. Oh, Dom, you're always right.
that's it. I like people who tell me I'm right. No.
Where do you think we're going now with like digital ID and all of this?
I think I might sort of come from a different angle and say
Yeah.
what I'm concerned about is now they're going to change the game and act like they're on our side,
Oh,
and
really?
they're going to try and find role models that are sort of that we can relate to and back them up, and they'll come out and say that, oh, we're neoconservative, this and that, and they're gonna give us our leader, if you will,
Yeah.
and they're gonna try and knock off all of our real leaders. That's what's happening. That,
Right.
in my opinion.
Yeah. So,
and so-
almost false hope.
You could say that, but I also think that we have a very interesting generation coming up, Gen Z, who have grown up in the mill of propaganda, and they basically rejected the whole lot. But
Do you think so?
well, they are critical thinkers.
Yeah.
The interesting thing about people is that if you force them too hard one way,
Yeah.
they tend to
Want to
turn the other way. Yes. So we have a few good years where we have a hypercritical generation coming up. And I have been speaking to a lot of Gen Z, and they fill me with more hope than most generations.
It's really good. What did you think of when Albanese was talking to those children in an interview, and they said, "Are we? We're just going to get round it. We're going to do X, Y, Z," and it's
Yeah, well, that's how Gen Z thinks, because they've grown up in a more intense sort of indoctrination than we did.
Yeah.
We got to
Where
experience
do you think it's happening? Where this indoctrination coming from?
in the schools. They want to separate you from your kids, keep you working, keep your kids in the mill, make them learn all this stuff. But the thing is with kids is, if they can tell when you're forcing them to believe something. And so more than our generation, because we had a little bit of space to breathe. I remember when I was younger, there was a lot of stuff that wasn't propaganda. It was just, it was either art, or they were selling you Power Rangers. It's culture. There was culture.
There was no agenda behind it.
When you put agenda behind everything, people really feel suffocated. And that's why we see Gen Z. Gen Z, you look at them and they say, oh, Gen Z's got this stare. Yeah, they're serious people compared to before. They actually are much more mature than my generation and maybe other generations before that in some ways. And so that's why when people are always saying, oh, Gen Z is lost, I'm like, they might be the first generation to actually figure some things out that a lot of us were totally ignorant to.
Yeah.
We've lost a couple of generations. Gen X
Where do you think we're going
seems-
with AI, though? I mean, because
well, this is the reason why maybe the powers that be are stepping back a little bit. It's because they're going to put their faith in AI. AI is going to be their biggest weapon. Um,
Do you think there's a danger of AI becoming God to a lot of people?
to a lot of people, that's the most important part because people might believe that they have transcended God again, like Tower of Babel or, Sodom and Gomorrah or, Soviet Russia, Nazi Germany. It never works out. We just don't know how it's going to fuck up. That's how, um, however you interpret God, as some people interpret God as being, they say universe or the laws of the universe or a force of nature. That you can look at it that way if you want.
Yeah, I suppose God means something to each of us differently. Yeah.
Well, I'm trying to put it in a term where I can communicate with secular people who prefer to live in a Christian society than a non-Christian society, even if they don't admit it.
Do you think Australia is still a Christian
100%.
country?
100%. Of course, it's changing, but even if most people in that society are not believers in a religion of any kind, if the basis is the principles that are laid down by the Bible, which we'll say the primary one is the value of the individual, then it is still very much a Christian country in a lot of its essence, and that's what our culture is developed from. A lot of
Do you think mass immigration is a danger to that?
mass immigration in any context is a problem. Not even sometimes because of the people, but because it destroys the ability for the society to actually integrate, and you'll end up with ethnic groups.
Yeah.
And that,
So do you believe in multiculturalism?
no, I believe in multiracialism. They can have many religions, but there needs to be some sort of context for everybody to get along, because that's mostly what
So
culture is.
So enables us to assimilate with each other.
Enables us to integrate with each other. When you walk out of your house, you know when to say hello, when to step aside. We need to maybe improve our culture so slow walkers stand on one side of the footpath. I would suggest that. But basically, culture is a social contract, not construct. Culture is a social contract that allows you to get through your day with lots of other people without conflict.
Yeah.
Different.
I like that
countries-
definition. That's a nice definition.
I'm really boiling it down to what it is. So I know when I walk out of the house, generally speaking, when to say hello, how to be courteous, how to be polite. When you bring people from different countries with totally different cultures, maybe they have countries that have been in war for many years. Maybe they have a tribal culture. Maybe they have hyper individualist or collective culture. Suddenly there becomes a bit of confusion as to how to interact with other people. Then you get what enclaves of people who don't want to assimilate because they just don't know how.
Yeah.
They've lost the ability to interact with this group of people, that group of people. And then you start to see those groups of people starting to work against each other.
Yeah.
I don't like this group of people because they get more political power and it's affecting us negatively. And that is... And people,
I think that's what's happening in the UK because Keir Starmer, he's known as two-tier Keir.
yes, yeah, that's 100% what it is. And the funny thing is that they're trying to integrate people by disenfranchising the native population and exalting a foreign population.
Yeah. Yeah, well, they're putting up the immigrants in 4-star hotels and then cutting the winter fuel payments for the elderly.
It's like a form of colonialism. It's like how they say the despot loves the foreigner more than his own people.
Yeah.
It's like how dictators like Saddam would have Christian guards that were not ethnically related.
Yeah, it doesn't kind of make sense, does
It
it?
makes perfect sense because the foreigners will be more loyal to you than the people that you were terrorizing.
Right, so that loyalty gives you what?
That loyalty gives you in old times.
Give Albanese.
Well, the funny thing is that Albanese is doing it for political points, and that might have worked. It actually used to work.
Yeah.
It really did because we were all so assimilated. We were so brainwashed. So the left-wing mentality was the default. Back in 2014, 2015, it was the default, and the undercurrents of populism were there, but they were very quiet, and you would have believed that it was just going to keep doing. It was going to continue like that for ages.
But it seems to be changing all around the world. The same sentiment is being felt all around the world, don't you think?
It's always going to come back to balance.
Yeah.
everything comes back to balance in the end.
It seems everywhere went extreme left, and we need to sort of bring an equilibrium to the world. You know.
That's, I think what I'm watching at the moment is to see if the recalibration is going to be steady or it's going to be a little extreme.
Yeah. Would you consider your left wing or right wing?
Well, let's say if left wing was a toolbox and right wing was a toolbox, I want the tools for the job, not the tools from that toolbox. I'd rather take a bit of both.
Yeah.
One of the things I noticed about Australia, I
So
think,
you're in the middle.
I don't know, because
Yeah.
it's going to depend on what everybody thinks the middle is. I really don't.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
Yeah.
So for me, I find that the Australian way is we have a system where we contribute a little bit of our money and we invest in infrastructure that allows people to contribute to the economy, which allows us to raise our living standards. That is sort of the Australian formula. That is our culture. So we have free enterprise, but we could do with a lot more.
Do you think we should be a lot more wealthy than we actually are? I mean, with all the minerals we have, the oil.
We should, yeah, absolutely. And I think
What's going wrong there?
I think that we have internationalized our industries too much. I think that we have relied on other countries to do a lot of our jobs for us. I would be much more of a economic protectionist. I would say
Sold a lot of our industry off.
absolutely. I would be more about giving Australians ways to contribute to the economy. We don't want to become one of those countries like England, for example, that has a large GDP propped up by a financial sector that doesn't actually trickle anything down to anybody except for the wealthy elite, and the poor just keep getting poorer.
Yeah.
And everybody in the middle is getting squeezed for revenue, and the small financial hubs are the ones raking all the money. It's even just unstable. It just cannot continue. It is
Do you think Albanese's been a good prime minister?
no.
What do you think his worst thing he's done?
I think trying to find ways to prop up the economy and trying to solve all of the problems with his toolbox, his ideological toolbox.
Do you think he listens to the people?
No, absolutely not. No, he has a small group of people around him that affirm what he believes. He's the Labor Party in general is sort of like a corner with a very strong ideology that has become too left wing, and I would say Liberal is also in the similar situation.
Yeah. They don't really offer any real alternatives, do they, the Liberals?
Absolutely not. They're just like the Tories in England.
Yeah.
They're a impotent party,
Yeah.
I would say.
So what do you think the answer is politically? Where do we go from here?
Don't vote for major parties at all
Yeah.
or their allies. I'm voting One Nation. I'm putting One Nation as number one.
Yeah.
And like for me, my background is mixed. I got different backgrounds, and I grew up around people from other countries.
Yeah.
And I get on.
It's okay. I'm not. Don't think I'm thinking you're a racist because you're going to vote for One Nation. Is that what? Is that? I'm getting that from what you're implying. I don't believe Pauline Hanson is a racist. I think she's been. Sorry.
No, that's all right.
Interrupted.
That's all right. That's okay.
Yeah.
No, well, what I'm trying to express is if anybody's watching, to say that you're not going to be a racist just because you believe that we need to not add so much flour to the cake at the same time. All right. If you want to add more flour, you got to add more eggs. You got to add more butter. You got to add more sugar.
I like your analogy. Yes.
You know.
Yeah.
I got no problem with fresh blood, but that fresh blood's got to be good blood.
Yeah.
That fresh blood has got to be people who are going to work their way up and contribute, like my ancestors were, pulling up trees and digging ditches, not coming in to bolster the voting share for a corrupt political party or to put money into the pockets of corrupt officials, but to actually contribute to keeping this country running.
Do you think it's important to speak English when you come to this country?
100%.
Do you think there's a problem there?
Absolutely not. I like.
No, I mean, do you think there are a lot more people now that can't speak English?
There is quite a few. There is quite a few. When you come to, I visited Indonesia recently, and I learned a bit of Indonesian to get around out of respect.
Yeah.
As a guest,
Yeah.
just as a guest, not even as somebody who is trying to go there. You will believe that
It's
if I was, yeah, if I was to move to Indonesia, I will be adopting their way of life. I'll be having
Would you fly their flag?
100%. 100%. They love their flag, and I love that about them.
Yeah.
I love that about them.
So you see nothing racist in flying the Australian flag?
Is there anything racist about an Indonesian flying the Indonesian flag?
Not in my opinion, none at all. I think it's quite patriotic.
100%.
I've always liked that about Australia. I'm from the UK, but I've always liked the fact that they are patriotic, they love their country, and they fly their flag.
The Indonesians are a country that's made up of many ethnicities. Some of them weren't even getting along in history. The Sundanese and the Javanese, they had trouble with two kingdoms, Majapahit, Sriwijaya. They remember this. It's still very important to them. But they have found a way to make peace by uniting under Indonesia. There's hundreds of languages, but they all speak Indonesian to get around. And they have an understanding of respecting each other's culture.
Yeah.
And they have a common Indonesian identity that they are so proud of, because I can go to Sunda, I can go to Bali, or I can go to the Aceh, and they see the Indonesian flag flying, and they believe in their country, even though they might disagree with their politicians, and I would too. But
But you think it makes a stronger nation?
They are a nation. If they don't have a unified identity, they're not even a nation. And then what are they? They're basically just an economic zone, and that's the problem.
I like the way that, I mean, you seem quite a young person to be so interested in the world and the politics and stuff. So what's inspired that?
I like to have an opinion.
So therefore you like to be, have some knowledge behind that opinion.
Yeah, I like to have my opinion. If I don't have knowledge, I don't have an opinion.
Exactly. You can't back it up. Yeah.
Yeah, I think like what you said earlier about don't listen to the media because they are owned. People forget that it doesn't make sense for it to be any other way, really. Of course, there's going to be interests that are making a lot of money or gaining a lot of power that are going to try to use the media
and manipulate.
They're going to create an entire narrative. They're going to make your world for you.
Yeah, and they are, aren't they? They're trying, but we're fighting back.
Practically, yeah. Now they want to ban young people from social media. They want to make it so you have to log into social media.
Yeah.
So that they can say, oh yeah, you said the Ukraine is losing the war. How dare you? How dare you? You have to take that down, because that's not the world. Yeah. The world is what we make it is. It's like what they said at the WEF. We own the truth. I said.
So who's your main source of news? Who do you look at?
I watch a lot of YouTube. I rely on sort of independents a lot.
Yeah.
I actually can't really remember the names because I think the Popular Report. I watch a lot of Popular Report.
Yeah.
I watch a lot of The Quartering. I love The Quartering.
Yeah.
Those kinds of, and I take a little bit, and I generally don't believe anything unless I've seen it from a few different sources.
Yeah,
and
that's good.
I believe in. I also have sort of a bit of a. I believe that a logic system shouldn't be black and white as well. I think that there could be something being mostly true, mostly false, true, false, or you don't even know. And that's how I approach information.
That's good.
So try not to get emotional reaction to anything.
Yeah.
And
well, it's been lovely speaking to you, and thank you very much for doing part 2 with me. And you got some interesting views. Yeah. Thank you so much.
It's a pleasure.